But we'll start off with Mike Reese, please.
Sounds great, Stephanie. Jabrill, how you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Doing really well, thank you. So I think it's been about 5.5 months since your injury. How significant was that? And how close are you to being able to practice and maybe play in a game?
I had a partial tear to my ACL, but the ACL doesn't regenerate. So they had to go in there and surgically repair it. But I would say it's going well. I'm doing a great job listening to the medical professionals. I feel great. Haven't had any setbacks. So, hopefully we can keep this thing going.
And next question, Mike Giardi.
Hey, Jabrill, good to see you. I was just curious, you made the decision to come here. The Patriots have a couple box safeties and Adrian Phillips and Kyle Duggar. What sort of drew you to this place, knowing that maybe that's your most comfortable spot on the field?
Both those guys, have done a fantastic job in this league. And I just want to go into that safety room and, be another asset that they can move around, disguise looks, different things. And it's great having guys with similar skill sets because you can, confuse opposing coaches and quarterbacks. So, and, playing for Bill, his understanding of the game, what he's done for the game, the moment I had the opportunity to come learn from him, I definitely wanted to jump at it.
Thank you.
And next question, George Balakji.
Hey, Jabrill, thanks for joining us, man. Real quick, I'm from Wayne, New Jersey.
Sir, yes, sir.
I grew up with Frank Newtile.
Okay, yeah, that's my dog.
Yeah, and I graduated with Riggs, Darius Hamilton. I went to Wayne Valley, but I hung out with all them because of Jake Rigoloso.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So I'm happy to see another Jersey guy up here.
Absolutely.
So you touched on playing, with Adrian Phillips and Kyle Duggar. Overall, when you're going through the teams that wanted you throughout free agency, what about the Patriots made them seem like the right fit for you, whether it's scheme and culture as well?
Definitely scheme and culture. You hit it right on the head. It's no secret to, the dynasty that, New England has been. And, I wanted to come, learn from Bill. It's familiarity with the system, as I played for, a couple of his descendants. And, Joe Judge, I have familiarity there. I love Joe. He came back to New England and, I wanted to come join him. So, now we're here and I'm just excited to, learn from some of the best coaches in the game and, be implemented wherever they need me.
Thanks, Jabrill.
Sure.
Next question, Henry McKenna.
Hey, Jabrill. Welcome to New England. I was curious, just wanted to hear a little bit more from you about Joe Judge and some of the other folks in New England. What was your relationship with some of the guys, and what drew you back to working with them?
Me and Joe, we had a great relationship. So obviously, I wanted to continue that. He was here. Me wanting to play for Bill. Overall, just the culture, man, and wanting to come learn from the best coaches in the game. They like a 3 safety look. They know how to use multiples, and I'm already familiar with the system, so I thought it was a no-brainer.
And sorry, just quickly, Elliot Wolf. I know you had maybe some connection with him in Cleveland. Is that right?
Yes, I believe so. Yes, sir.
Okay, so you didn't have a ton of interaction with him, or did you?
Not a ton, no.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Appreciate you.
Sure.
Next question, Zach Cox.
Hey, Jabrill, welcome to New England. Kind of piggybacking off of Mike's question earlier, you're coming into a pretty talented safety room with Adrian and Kyle and Devin McCourty as well. Just curious what your impressions have been of those guys, watching them over the years, and how you've gotten to know them since you've came aboard here.
I haven't met all the guys yet, but I'm familiar with them. AP has done a great job in this league. Kyle Duggar is doing his thing. I think he's coming into his own. You have D-Mac back there. So, I just wanted to be a guy to come in here, add to that, compete with those guys and, make it hard on the coaches to put the best guys on the field, have different packages, things like that. So, I definitely think it's a good thing that we can all compete with each other, piggyback off each other, You know, you got guys who played a lot of ball in this league. You know, even though Doug's young, he's played a lot of ball in this league. And then, you know, we can all lean on D-Mac. You know, he's seen it all. You know, and I'm just excited, man, you know, to be able to come into that room and play with those guys and, you know, compete with those guys. So, you know, I definitely think it's going to be good.
Awesome. Thank you.
Sure.
And next question, Dakota Randall.
Hey, Jabrill, you kind of talked on it earlier, but playing for Belichick is something we sort of always ask guys what they're expecting and then later see how the experience wound up being.
Yep.
So just what are you looking forward to and what are you sort of curious about as you get ready to play for Belichick?
You know, I'm just looking forward to learning. You know, he's seen a lot of ball. You know, he's coached in a lot of errors. So, you know, I'm just more so excited to pick his brain, you know, see things how he sees it, you know, curious to see how he watches film, how he breaks down the opposing offenses, you know, just things like that, that, you know, really stuck out to me. And then, you know, playing for, you know, people who coached in this system, you know, made it a no-brainer for me as well. You know, the familiarity there, you know, I'm sure I'm going to have to, you know, learn new things as far as terminology and things like that. But overall, you know, the scheme is the scheme. And, you know, I'm just excited to, you know, come in here and, you know, help these guys any way I can.
Great. Thank you.
Next question, Chris Ryan.
Hey, welcome to New England. Wanted to ask you a little bit about yourself as a player. Like, how would you describe yourself as a player? And how do you see that mixing in with who the Patriots are as an organization?
You know, I think I'm a tough, hard-nosed, you know, hard worker. You know, I still think that, you know, my best ball is ahead of me, but, you know, I think I'll fit in, you know, pretty well with, you know, how the guys work here, you know, the mindset, you know, how they play. So, you know, I'm definitely not worried about that.
And next question, Phil Perry.
Hey, Jabrill, welcome. You've mentioned the word culture a couple times, and I wanted to ask you maybe how you describe the culture under Joe Judge in New York. I know you're a captain there. And are you expecting for things to be relatively similar here?
You know, I believe so. You know, I definitely think that some of the things that, you know, he learned here or he saw here, you know, he implemented there. You know, so I don't think it'll be too much of a culture shock for me, you know, even just watching the workouts, you know, that the guys are doing while I'm in the building, you know, it's some carryover from, you know, when we were in New York. So, you know, I definitely think that he tried to implement a lot of, you know, what we do here over there. But, you know, I definitely think that, you know, it shouldn't be too much of a culture shock, you know, to be honest.
Thanks, Jabrill.
Sure.
Next question, Andrew Callahan.
Hey, Jabrill, welcome to New England. Good to have you here. I wanted to go back to the summer with joint practices. What do you just remember about that experience, and what did you learn about the Patriots that you didn't know before you got to practice against them?
Well, we kind of knew everything. You know, being that, you know, Joe coached there for so long, you know, he kind of already gave us the rundown. But, you know, I guess the one thing that stood out to me was, you know, how, you know, the condition those guys were in so early. You know, how much of a, you know, like not like a system, but, you know, how disciplined that they handle things. You know, it didn't matter if it was the first team, second team, or the third team. You know, everybody knew they had a job to do. And, you know, you could tell those guys were coached pretty well. So, you know, those are definitely the two things that stood out to me.
Next question, Kyrie Thompson.
Hey, Jabrill. Just wanted to ask this. So the game is getting, you know, faster, and, you know, offenses are spreading people out all over the place. There are going to be some fast receivers in this division and great passing attacks just generally across the AFC. So how do you see yourself helping the Patriots counter that at, you know, every level of the secondary, really? I mean, because you mentioned, you know, Duggar and Phillips, those guys play in the box. Sometimes they play deep, sometimes they play in the slot, and they're taking, you know, tight ends and slot receivers. So how do you see yourself fitting in there?
You know, whatever the coaches need me to do, you know, I like to think I'm pretty fast myself. But, you know, whatever they need me to do, you know, we have a lot of guys in that room that can do a lot of different things. You know, they can play well in space, you know, great athletes. So, you know, we're going to leave that up to the coaches to figure out the best thing to do schematically. But, you know, only thing we could do is control the controllables, you know, work hard, make sure we got our bodies ready to go, make sure we're ready to compete, know what we have to do to a T, and, you know, go out there and execute.
Thank you.
Next question, Mark Daniels.
Jabrill, hope football as well. Welcome to New England. With Joe, you know, obviously you saw him in a bit of a different role than we saw him when he was an assistant here. What do you think about him moving to the offensive side of the ball? Is it a surprise to you?
A little bit, but you know, back in New York, you know, he always leaned toward the Giants and kind of toward the offense, and you know, favored them a little bit more. So it's not too much of a surprise to me. But you know, it'll be interesting to see, you know, what he does on the offensive side, you know, because usually, you know, I know him as the head guy and the special teams guru. So it'll be interesting to see him on that side and, you know, talk a little smack to him.
Yeah. And a quick follow-up, just how much do you enjoy punt returning, and how much are you hoping to do that here?
You know, whatever the team needs me to do. You know, I'm a guy like, you know, having the ball in my hands and, you know, hopefully making some impact plays with it. But at the end of the day, you know, it's whatever they need me to do.
Thank you.
Next question, Tyler Boronsky.
Hey, Jabrill, welcome to the team.
Sure.
You mentioned a couple times how badly you want to play for Coach Belichick. What have your initial conversations been with him so far since joining the organization?
You know, it's just been things about, you know, how am I getting adjusted? You know, how am I feeling? You know, things like that. Haven't really had a chance to really talk ball with him yet, but you know, with OTAs coming up, I'm sure that'll change. But you know, as of right now, that's just been the basis of our conversation.
And we'll do two final questions. And next question from Chris Mason.
Hey, Jabrill, congrats on the contract. Is there anyone interesting that you've crossed paths with at the facility yet?
Not yet. You know, everyone has their, you know, different personalities and things like that. But I wouldn't say, you know, I met anybody that, you know, struck me as, you know, interesting. It's just, you know, normal ball, normal locker room things.
And did the Patriots discuss punt returns at all with you in the free agency process? Is that something that came up at all?
You know, I believe so, but you know, it was just more so, you know, the things that we can do on defense, you know, with the multiples and, you know, things like that. But, you know, I like to think that, you know, I'm a guy they can trust back there if it comes down to it. But, you know, we haven't had any conversations about it.
Thank you.
And final question, Andrew Callahan.
Hey, Jabrill, we've heard a lot about you seem super comfortable. You know what to expect. You're with the program already, and that's great. But man, you're in a new place and you got a new job here. What's something new, big picture, that you've learned just being a Patriot?
You know, I've always had a high regard for the Patriots. So, you know, I came in, you know, knowing that the expectation is going to be high, you know, knowing that, you know, you're going to have to work hard, you know, things like that. So I've only been here like, you know, a week and a half maybe. So haven't really, you know, seen or heard anything yet that, you know, that strikes me, but I'm sure I will.
Thanks, man. Appreciate the time.
Yes, sir.
Jabrill, thank you very much for joining us today. And thank you everyone for joining the call.